And a very good Saturday morning to you. Welcome in to Prep Football Talk here on 94.9 The Fan. Chase McCabe in today for Greg Pogue alongside Coach Bubba Spears. Coach, what's up?
Hadn't seen you in a while.
I know. We were together Thursday night. Now here we are again in the studio and doing Prep Football Talk, and excited to be here today and filling in for Greg, who's got TSU duties, and so talking some high school football. We obviously saw a fun one the other night on a Thursday night, and then there were some games last night, so we'll take you through all of that, plus get our Legend of the Week and our Prep Player of the Week, and so it's a stacked and packed show, as they say.
Right, and it's different. You know, this is where it all started for me, right here at 102.5 when I started with Prep Football Talk with Craig Ladd and Greg. So it's good to come back to the old studio.
We will check in with Craig Ladd at the end of the show, of course, for a preview of what's to come. But, you know, let's look at some of the games from Thursday and last night, starting with one out of the private schools, CPA and MBA. Now, Chris Sanders, who's a wide receivers coach at MBA, comes on my show every Friday. He had glowing things to say before this game about CPA. He knew this would be a tough game. CPA wins at 16-15.
Well, you know, we've said all year, starting at the beginning of the season, CPA had one of the toughest schedules probably in the state of Tennessee, and I'd say them and Pearl Cone off the top of my head. And they battle, and they're battling back. What a game last night with a 16-15 win with Rawls Patterson. He rushed for over 213 yards and a touchdown and had 4 catches for 29 yards to lead CPA.
Yeah, and by the way, this is our opening kickoff presented by Rockwood Sustainable Solutions. And, Rawls Patterson has been a big player for them, as you mentioned, those 213 yards. But, NBA now at 4-2, CPA now 2-5, but that record doesn't mean anything because you look at some of the competition that they've had to go up against. I mean, this is still a really, really good team.
They're getting prepared for the playoffs, exactly what they're doing. And a lot of schools have to do that now because they have to travel in order to get a full schedule. You know, you don't want a couple of buys in there in your schedule. And CPA does a good job of doing that.
Big one out in Rutherford County as Blackman defeats Stewart's Creek 35-7. The Rockville transfer, Javion Elliott, was 7 of 11 for 127 yards and 2 touches, and added 83 on the ground and a rushing touchdown as well in a big Region 3-6A win.
Right, and, you know, Blackman coming back off of the big loss at Oakland and bouncing back with a 35-7 win, you know, and Brian Odor had 3 catches for 95 yards and 2 scores to lead the Blaze to now their record 6-1, 3-1. In 6A.
Yeah, so you know, it's funny too. Like, I feel like now with Rutherford County, if you mention Rutherford County, and immediately everybody goes, "Oh, Oakland." But you know, Blackman's had a lot of history. Obviously, Riverdale. You know, Stewart's Creek is still one of the newer schools in Ruco, but you know, there's a lot of tradition down in Rutherford County,
and it's a lot of schools. I mean, you know,
it's getting bigger and bigger.
A couple, right? And you know, what about Clarksville? That county there, I mean, it's just growing everywhere, and they're talking Wilson County putting up a new high school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, everywhere around the surrounding mid-state, they're adding schools. So, you know, it's growing.
Well, and Metro's going to do it too. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, people might be like, "Oh," but I mean, they will. You have to. I mean,
keep growing.
There's so many people moving here, and so many athletes. I mean, you've coached for a long time. You think about how many, you know, untapped athletes that they're either not playing or, you know, they're just kind of under the radar that there are out there.
It's just like when I was coaching, and in my prime I was coaching, we had a couple of handful of coaches that would come through Nashville in the mid-state area. Now you name it, the school, they come through here. And you see kids playing on Saturday that's played with a lot of these mid-state schools because the coaching in the mid-state is just outstanding. I mean, you know, we're getting better kids, but we're also getting better coaches.
Now, East Robertson defeats East Hickman 42-12. Cason Young, 12 of 17 for 317 yards and 4 touchdowns, 335 yards of total offense. East Robertson moves to 7-0 on the year. They're 2-0 in their region, 6-2A.
I'll tell you what this is setting up, and if it keeps on, we're talking about another school that we had Thursday night, East Nashville, East Lit. It's going to set up the last game of the season at East, a big showdown for probably the 6-2A championship. And, Cade Brooks had 4 catches for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns last night. And Zaylen Groves, you can't mention East Robertson without the Groves name coming up, had 4 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. So East Robertson is doing their part, and East has to do their part, but I think it's going to come down. We'll see in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And then keep this name in mind because it's going to come up again here in a few minutes. FRA, my alma mater, defeats Good Pasture 42-7. Jack Nimitz, the quarterback, 9 of 10, 218 yards, 5 touchdowns for the Panthers. They moved to 6-0, 4-0 in D2 AA. Mike Hassel had 5 carries for 135 yards and a touch, and Quadir Fletcher 2 passes for 48 yards and 2 touches.
Well, FRA is not a silent name for us. They just keep on doing what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, it might be Good Pasture's first loss.
I think you could be right on that.
I mean, I believe they've had an outstanding first start of the season, and this was a big game for Good Pasture. But FRA come through with that 42-7 win. The win from FRA doesn't surprise me, but the score does.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing too. Omari Sanders, who's a two-way player, a wide receiver, and a safety. There's been several coaches visiting the campus of Franklin Road Academy looking at him. Lane Kiffin was there earlier this week, as he tweeted out.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. The coaches at FRA do an outstanding job. That's not the only coaches that's come through FRA in the last few years.
No, and that's been cool to see because when I was there, that wasn't happening too much. Friendship Christian defeats DCA 37-7. Now, you were at this one, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've got to go see Friendship. Of course, my stepson coaches up there, so Amy's been going up to the games every day, every Friday night. Of course, it's another reason for us to go. We get to see 4 of our grandkids too, so that's part of the reason Pawpaw goes up there. But Friendship, very impressive because DCA has an outstanding team. Also, Friendship goes to 6-1 in Division II, Division I. Single A, and Jason McGowan, 17 carries on 100 yards and had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns to lead Friendship. So Friendship is very young. I didn't know this till last night. I think they only had 5 or 6 seniors on the team, and DCA, coached very well by Jay Price, of course, took over for Coach Wade when he left, and he's kept the DCA program. It just gets getting better. So that was a shocking score to me. Now, the big player from DCA, I'm going blank on his name.
The Carolina commit?
Yeah, the Carolina commit.
Blanking too.
He did not play last night. He was dressed out in street clothes on the sideline, but didn't play. So I'm sorry about the name because I was talking about it. He had committed earlier to Tennessee, decommitted, and now is going to North Carolina.
And so Friendship moves to 6-1, 3-0 in D2 Single A. Lipscomb Academy defeats Father Ryan 20-14. J.C. White 20 of 34 passing for 172 yards. He did have a pick. Zechariah Crockett rushed for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns for Lipscomb Academy. They moved to 2-5, but 2-0 in Division II AAA. Same
thing with Lipscomb Academy. They're playing some tough teams to fill their schedule, and it's going to benefit down the road. And Father Ryan, Caden Dixon was 13 of 27 passing for 181 yards and a touchdown to help Father Ryan. Father Ryan goes 1-6 and 0-3 in the region.
And then we talk about Rutherford County. Riverdale defeats Smyrna 31-13. Ravenwood transfer Gavin Hampton 16 of 20 passing for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead Riverdale 5-2 to 5-2. Now 3-1 and 3-6A. Loretto transfer Corbin Reynolds had 5 catches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Big win for Riverdale. And as you said, the quarterback transfer, Gavin Hampton, good night for him. So in Riverdale, they're also 3-1 in the region. So, but it looks like Oakland till somebody beats Oakland. Going to be Oakland, Riverdale, and the Riverdale and Blackman game will be real big in a couple of weeks. Also,
I've been to that game a few times, Oakland and Riverdale. Yeah. I mean, they show up. That's a fun one.
They show up in Rutherford County.
Oh, absolutely. And then finally, Upperman defeats Livingston Academy 49-6. Brodson Chaffin was 12 of 12 passing, 243 yards and a touchdown, 8 carries for 53 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Upperman moves to 5-2, 3-0 in Region 4-4A.
Big win for Upperman. Also, we got one. We had the game 2 weeks ago, Antioch and Cane Ridge, and I'm keeping up now with Andre Adams, the quarterback there. He was 8 for 12 last night for 213 yards and 4 touchdowns, and also Brandon Galladay, their receiver, 4 catches, 121 yards and 4 touchdowns.
So he
had 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, big night for Antioch, and I'm telling you, that team's very impressive, and they got a big game this week. We'll talk about it a little later. This in our game of the week.
Yeah, we will. Because they will be taking on FRA, so that will be a fun one. Did you see this story, Coach? Tennessee football commit Kamari Blair. He's a 6'6", 285-pound offensive tackle. He scored a touchdown on a lateral, and then throws a pass as well. And his future head coach, at least for now, was there. Josh Heupel was in attendance, but he's a Kirkwood High senior offensive tackle. He caught a lateral and then ran it in for a touchdown in a 40-9 win over Laverne. This was Thursday night. He later threw a pass after catching a lateral from a teammate.
That just goes to show you what's happening now with the athletes. Yeah. They're getting bigger, faster, and stronger. And like you said, it's an athlete, 6'6", 285-pound tackle. Of course, they might have picked that up from the week before when there was a team called Alabama throwing it to their big tackle against Georgia out there on a screen, and he ran over a couple people. And I'm sure Blair probably just took it and did what he wanted to with it. And to have the coach there is even better, isn't it?
Real quick, let's get to our Tim Leeper Roofing Mid-State Player of the Week. Here are the nominees that we got. Jack Nimitz, he's the quarterback for Franklin Road Academy as they won against Good Pasture, 9 of 10 passing, 218 yards in the win. He had 5 touchdown passes to lead Nashville area's high school football performance of the week in Week 7 for the TSSAA football season. Rawls Patterson from CPA, 29 carries, 213 yards, and a touchdown. Caught 4 passes as well in their win over NBA. J.C. White from Lipscomb Academy, 20 of 34 for 172 yards, 1 pick in the win over Father Ryan. Brodson Chaffin from Upperman, 12 of 12, 243 yards and a touchdown, 8 carries for 53 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then Gavin Hampton from Riverdale, 16 of 20, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns to lead Riverdale to their win. What you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking 9 of 10 is pretty good passing for 218 yards for a big win. I'm going with the FRA quarterback.
Jack Nimitz, that he will be our Tim Leeper Roofing Player of the Week, so that means he gets a nice plaque. You and Greg will get to go see him and deliver a plaque over there to the Hill. So they're doing a great job over there, and congratulations to him. Coming up next, speaking of the Tim Leeper Roofing Mid-State Player of the Week, we're going to talk to last week's Player of the Week, Kayshawn Barker. He's a quarterback at Gallatin, and their coach, Michael Stope, going to join us coming up next. This is Prep Football Talk here on this Saturday. Chase McCabe in for Greg Pogue alongside the Coach Bubba Spears here on 94.9 The Fan. Prep football talk here on this Saturday, 94.9 The Fan. Chase McCabe in for Greg Pogue today alongside Coach Bubba Spears. Appreciate you being with us on this Saturday morning. And, Coach, I know you always enjoy talking to fellow coaches and everything going on in today's game, including the coach of our Tim Leeper Roofing Player of the Week, Mid-State Player of the Week from Week 6. The coach at Gallatin, Michael Stope, is on the line with us. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good. How are y'all?
We're doing fantastic. And, talk a little bit about Kason Barker, because he was called into duty after your starting quarterback, who I think you know pretty well, was hurt, and he comes in and has a big week last week.
Yeah, KB comes in, and he played quarterback before, but this year he was playing receiver for us, and we got him a 4 days of preparation, and put a game plan together, and he went out and executed it, and had a good night last week against Station Camp.
And then last night against Mount Juliet as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Coach, it's Coach Bubba Spears. First of all, how's your son doing? I know he got injured, and I know it's tough, not only as a coach, but being the coach and the father at the same time.
Yeah, he was up. Matter of fact, he was at the game last night. Had a headset on and helping KB out and showing him some stuff on the sideline. But yeah, he's doing well. Surgery went great. No torn ligaments, no torn tendons, just a broken tibia. And they put a plate in that and a few screws, and he'll be good to go. Probably by the end of November, 1st of December, be back on it and getting going. As a dad, you prepare yourself, especially he's a senior. You kind of look forward to or prepare yourself for that last game, and it kind of snuck up on us quicker than we wanted it to. But he's a great kid, got a great future in front of him, and can't say enough about him.
Well, Coach, in the game where Kason stepped in for him, it's you won the Mayor's Cup, and I thought what was pretty neat about that, the story, is that the team takes the Mayor's Cup over to Jackson.
Yeah. It was a tough week for everybody. Jack does a good job of leading the guys. He's the guy at practice that gets everybody going, whether it be defense or offense. And, he kicks them in the rear end when they need a kick in the rear end. He also puts his arm around them when they need it. And, he's just that guy that, every coach really wants on their team. And when he wasn't there on Monday, I wasn't there on Monday. He had MRIs, and then on Thursday he had surgery. And then I told some people like Tuesday and Wednesday, when I was at practice, I didn't feel like I really was at practice.
Yeah.
And that's just being a father. I wasn't prepared for what they did on Friday night against Station Camp. I've always taught my kids, hey, it ain't about you. It's about the team first. We don't want praise. We're gonna reflect all the praise to the team and the guys. And Dr. Becker, our principal, came up and said, hey, listen, we're going to take the buses by your house. And I said, I don't really want to do that. He said, I really don't care what you think. I said, yes, sir. And, the kids, man, and then the kids didn't know we were coming by either. And when we pulled down the neighborhood, everybody's like, hey, we're going by Jack's house. And, all my neighbors, I don't know if they called the cops. They probably shouldn't have called the cops, because the cops let us in. And, man, they were hanging their heads out the door and, yelling at him. And that kind of stuff right there, it makes you feel good as a parent,
That is fantastic, Coach. You mentioned, you kind of being at practice but not feeling like you're there. What can you say about your assistant coaches that were able to step up and help in such a difficult time?
Oh, man, those guys did a bang-up job, man. It was every day, I haven't been back to work. He's been needing assistance, and so I've been doing half days, and I come in, like, this week was such a better week for me. But last week, man, it's so complicated, and they're calling me, and we may have a situation here or there. And, but they did a great job, getting the practice put together and executing it. And you can't say enough about what my assistant coaches mean to me. and the job they did. And I've got a couple guys on staff that have head coaching experience, so they knew what to do. And it's just it feels good that you can kind of step away for a little bit and know it's in good hands.
Coach, being a former coach myself, when you was telling that story about the buses going by and the kids hanging, you just get cold chills, because that's what people don't understand. Yes, you're a coach, but a lot of times you're their father, you're their uncle, you're their brother, but you teach them the other things of life that's going to stick with them when they graduate and when they go on. You want them to be good fathers and good community members and lead the community. And Gallatin has that standard, just putting on that green wave uniform, if I'm not correct.
100%. And there are coaches out there that they put everything on wins. And I was raised, my dad was a head football coach for 26 years, and I was raised in a household, and he always taught us character first, and you want to put guys back into the community that can be pillars of the community, and that's what we teach them. And we have kids these days. I'm a firm believer that if you teach them how to act and you teach them how to respect one another and respect their elders and their teachers, and then winning's going to take care of itself. I'm not going to go sell my soul for a W, and there's some guys out there that will. I'm not that guy. If you go out there and you rush for 200 yards from me one night and the next night you get in trouble, well, I'm gonna make a tough decision, but I'm gonna make a decision that's best for the team, and these kids know that, and we've got some really good kids on our football team, and some kids that come from don't come from a whole lot, but. The people in this community, they support Gallatin football to the utmost, man. And it is unlike any town I've ever been in that does that. They shut Main Street down when our buses come down to go to the football stadium. We've got police escorts, and you got people lining the streets. So it's really fun to be a part of that.
Well, Coach, I was looking forward to meeting you and did not know this when we came up and took the picture, but everything that you've just said, I remember it well, because when I first started coaching in 79, I was on the Mount Juliet staff when we played Gallatin and got beat 2-0. And it was a packed house. And when you go to Gallatin, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the whole community. Now, it's taken Gallatin down a little bit when they had all the schools put back in Sumner County. I understand that. It happens everywhere. But it seems like right now you got them on the track that they've been on. And, Coach, just talking to you, I know Gallatin's football program is in great hands again.
Well, I appreciate it. And again, it's just not me. You got really good assistant coaches. You got some good kids on the program, man. And you got a booster club. And, man, it takes a village, and you know that.
Right.
I'm just the guy that kind of keeps it on track, and you got everybody else that kind of pushing it along.
Well, you said something about the buses going to your house. You got trumped by the man. It's great to have administration behind you, too. It's so much easier, and these administrators at some school don't understand that, and I can say that now because I'm not coaching, but it's great to have those administrators that enjoy athletics and appreciate what it stands for.
And it does. And, Dr. Becker and Mr. Fresh, the whole team over there, man, they do a wonderful job supporting athletics over there. And, when I first got in there, it was kind of, do they understand? Do they? But they do. They get behind it 110%. And I've never been told no. And, and I come with them with a request, and they bend over backwards to try to get it done because they know I'm trying to do it for the kids. I don't try to do it for self-promotion. I'm not about that. I'm about giving these kids the best experience they can have. And they do a wonderful job of that.
Well, Coach, Gallatin being such a tight community, is the entire community Minnesota Vikings fans these days because of Jordan Mason?
You bet your hind we're in there are. They are purple and gold around here.
I love it. Coach, congratulations and to Kason as well, and obviously his story of transferring back to Gallatin from Davidson is cool, and we hope that your son is doing well and has a speedy recovery.
Hey, I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys do for high school football.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. That is Michael Stope, who is the head coach of the Gallatin Green Wave, joining us and representing Kason Barksdale, our Tim Leeper Roofing Mid-State Player of the Week.
I have to say this. I have to apologize to DCA. Coach Jay Pierce over there, when I was telling you about the friendship game, Carson Sneed is the young man that is committed to North Carolina, and that's just been eating at me till the name came to me. So, when you get my age, don't tell me where my car is.
I forget stuff all the time. Don't worry, Coach. I'm the same way. Coming up next, it's our Prep Legend of the Week, and a guy from the Bellevue area, Nashville Christian's head coach, Jeff Brothers, of course, played at BA and also at Vanderbilt. He's going to join us coming up next here on Prep Football Talk. Chase McCabe in for Greg Pogue today, 94.9 The Fan. Prep Football Talk here on this Saturday morning. Chase McCabe, Coach Bubba Spears with you, in for Greg Pogue today. And let's talk to our Prep Legend of the Week. He is head coach at Nashville Christian. Coach Jeff Brothers is on the line with us now. Coach, how are you?
Doing well this morning. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic. I got to start off the bat because I've asked other people about him, and I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you. What's it like coaching Jared Curtis? Because he can throw a pretty football.
It's unbelievable, and it's not because of the talent or because of the opportunities and accolades. It's because of the kind of kid he is. Just a tremendous worker, a great teammate. He's a confident kid, but he's a humble kid in the fact that he knows he needs coaching and he needs teammates. And, he enjoys the preparation just as much as he does, the games themselves. And, it's just to have somebody on your team that has that much, talent and this much, recognition and opportunity, and I guess fame is the best word, and to still be so humble and such a great teammate and such a great kid. It's, people wouldn't believe it unless you lived it with him, and it's absolutely true.
How much do you, let him enjoy his senior year, but also kind of prep him for what's to come? Because, you've lived it. You've played college ball, and obviously it's quite different now. But how much do you kind of let him live in the moment, but also help him move forward?
Well, the number one thing coming into the season, was, and after he had finalized his recommitment to the University of Georgia, even on, that night, I said, let's just go enjoy your senior season, have fun, be a kid. This is not going to happen again, ever, the rest of your life, to be with your teammates and your classmates, the guys you've grown up with, and, enjoy this experience with. So, buckle down and have fun. Let's go win games. We got work to do. And then at the same time, as he looks toward the future and thinks about college ball, and we sit down, and our quarterback coach, Kyle Tidwell, does a great job just, going through some formation, things from Georgia and watching some Georgia film and talking through kind of what they're doing and what they see and kind of getting him ready because, these early signees, early enrollees, they hit the ground running and they're expecting him to come in and compete, and we want him to be able to go in and compete. So anything we can do to help that process, we're happy to do. But at the same time, what I love about Jared and what I love about all of our seniors that have had this success and, won a championship last year is that they want to make this year special. And they're so locked into what this football season has in store and what this group of guys can accomplish and the opportunities we have to do things that haven't been done. And he leads that group and leads that charge. He is so committed and so dedicated to his school and his teammates that it makes it really, really fun to be a part of.
Hey, Jeff, this is Bubba Spears.
Yeah, Coach.
You're fortunate, but he's fortunate the way I look at it too, to have the coaching staff that you've got surrounding him. But like you said, to enjoy his senior year and everything, but to get the coaching that he's getting out there. I said, you've had every coach that you could name come in your school, and that's been a distraction. And having this year, like you said, they want to do something special, and having that target on your back, because if they could beat Nashville Christian, that makes their year, because of the publicity and what you have done. You've built a program out there that people want to shoot at, and I'll get to that in my next question about when you played for Carlton Flat. You're used to that because you had that same target on y'all's back when you played high school ball yourself.
Yes, sir. And, pressure is a privilege because it means that people have high expectations and you have high expectations of yourself. And, like you said, we talk to our guys every week, no matter who we're playing, that we're going to get the best game they can play because, like you said, beating Nashville Christian is a high water mark, for a season for anybody. And so that's a tribute to the players that we've had and the coaches that we've had that have poured into it, and our administration and our entire school community, is that this has become something that, people take notice of. And so our guys understand that pressure, and we talk to them about what that means and how to handle it. But at the same time, it's a kid's game, and we want to have fun, and we want them to enjoy this experience. And, there's some kids that are on the field all the time. There's some kids that, don't get on the field very much, but we want them all to have the same great memories and great experience of this time together. And, the target just gets bigger each week and each year. And like I said, that's something you want. That's what you're trying to build when you start talking about football programs and individual teams. It's been a great blessing, and I've been surrounded by great people that have made that happen.
Now, at Vanderbilt, you were let's see if I have this right. Watson recruited you, and did you play 1 year for him and then the rest with DiNardo?
Well, I redshirted in '89.
Okay.
First of all, like Coach said just a minute, I played for what I think is the greatest of all the legends, in Coach Carlton Flatt, and he did a tremendous job, with those programs at Brentwood, that program, those teams at Brentwood Academy, and he helped me to get ready, for my time at Vanderbilt. But I signed with Coach Brown, redshirted in '89, played a year in '90 with Coach Brown, and then DiNardo came my sophomore, junior, senior year.
So what was that like with the change going from Coach Watson Brown to Jared DiNardo?
Well, everybody, all coaches have different personalities, different philosophies, different ways of going about things, and it doesn't make one, right or wrong. It's just everybody's different, and you can see that across the sport. Coach Brown, I signed with him as a quarterback, and then having played at Brentwood Academy, was a passing, game quarterback. And then when Coach DiNardo came in, brought the eye bone from Colorado back in those days when that was the kind of the thing going in the college football ranks. And so we went from a wide open kind of spread attack that Coach Brown had to a three-back, one or two tight end downhill option game, which was not what I had grown up in and been prepared to do. So it was a change, and it I had to kind of learn that, pretty quickly. And I tell our guys, part of the story is I was given an opportunity to be the starting quarterback at Vanderbilt in that time, and I wasn't ready, and I didn't play well. And started the first 3 games of the season and played in the first 5 games of the season, and just was not. We didn't win enough. I didn't execute well enough. I wasn't what we needed from the quarterback position at the time, and I lost my job. And so losing a start position at an SEC school is a tough road, and you have to figure out how to navigate that. And I was, again, just surrounded by good people who gave me some wisdom and some guidance and some encouragement, and kind of fought my way through that. And then the next spring, going into my junior year, Coach Ron Case came to me and said, "Would you like to think about playing free safety?" And I'd spent my whole life being a quarterback, so you have to kind of change your mindset and your outlook on things, and kind of recalibrate yourself to what it means to be successful. And I said, "Yeah, Coach, if you think I can do it, let's do it." And then it turns out he was the coach in charge of punt return, so he asked me if I wanted to be a punt returner, and I said yes, and that worked out. So, I think the most important thing is just whatever the path is and wherever it leads, you just got to prepare yourself for that path and trust the people around you and work hard and see what happens.
Coach, you brought some education to me because I thought I knew a little bit about you, because I got my start at Mount Juliet High School with Carlton Flatt's cousin, Howell Flatt and Jerry Flatt. I had 2 Flatts where you had 1. And
yeah. I'm sorry.
I know. Coach Flatt, Coach Carlton Flatt, to me, I'm with you there. He's he's the legend of the legends in high school sports. What a great coach he was. But I get on Hal all the time. I said, if it wasn't for you, if you hadn't hired me, I probably would have had another profession. So I blame him, and then I hug him for it too, because my 40 years I wouldn't take anything for it. But you're fortunate. You got to play for Coach Flatt. He threw the ball. And then another great guy that I think is one of the best coaches that's ever hit around here is Coach Brown, Watson Brown. What he's done for high school coaching and high school players around here is just untouchable. And then you just brought up another one. I forgot about Coach Case coaching out at Vanderbilt. I mean, you played for three great coaches right there. And Coach Leonardo, to me, was a good coach if you like the veer, like you talked about the option. And I love that. So, but Coach Brown and Coach Case and Coach Flatt, I can see now why Nashville Christian got you when they got you.
Well, you just try to take something from everybody you're blessed to be around, and those guys poured a lot into me, and I learned a lot about how to handle people. Coach Flatt was a tremendous motivator and an unbelievable play caller and in-game adjustment guy, and Coach Brown was innovative in his day. That spread offense stuff was not what people were doing, and he was doing it and doing it successfully. And so you learn a little bit about the passing game and the spread offenses and the innovative things that he was doing at the time. And then Coach Case defensively and Coach Carl Reese was our defensive coordinator, and to flip over to that side of the ball and learn about the different fronts and coverages and blitzes and how all that stuff worked together. I was able to see both sides of that from Coach Brown's offensive stuff, even Coach DiNardo's like you said, the option game, to learn a lot about that. And so just kind of to be immersed in a lot of different philosophies of football along the way, and then just decide out of all those experiences, I wasn't going to be a football coach. And you said it too, Coach, with Coach Flatt's cousins, but I was finishing college football, and injury had shortened what I thought might be a possible opportunity after that. And I was just going to go into the working world and figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And Coach Flatt said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm working this job. And he said, do you like it? I said, well, not really. He said, well, you need to be coaching football. And like most things he told me to do, I said, yes, sir, and started doing it. And, 32 years later, I'm still doing it. So just like you said, I'm just doing what I think people have poured into me. I'm just trying to pour it back out to others, and it's gone well, and I've been very blessed.
Well, and you've done such a fantastic job, both, JP2 before and then at Nashville Christian. I first met you when you were at JP2, and you scrimmaged FRA when I was a junior, and you had some guy named Golden Tate that we were supposed to hang with, which was near impossible. But it's come a long way since then, and now to Nashville Christian. But, Coach, congrats on all the success. And you guys had an off week this week, but then is it Tyner Academy that you got coming up Friday night?
That's right. They're a good football team. I think last poll I saw had them ranked fourth in the AAA division of Division I, and seen some film on them, and man, they are talented. They've got some skilled athletes. They've got speed. They've got size. They play aggressively on both sides of the ball, and that is a tall challenge. And we spent the off week kind of preparing ourselves for some of the things they do, and we've got another week to get ready, and we're going to need it, and that's exciting. But like Coach said earlier, the target's big, and we accept that, and that's part of what gets us up and motivates us, every day to get better. And we'll see what we can do. Talking about just being around a lot of people a long time. Coach, this too. You get kind of reflective after 30 years. You're like, wow, I've been around a minute, and I've been very, very fortunate to be part of high school state championships in Tennessee for 5 decades. As a player in the 80s, as an assistant with David Pack, who's another great coach at Clark Presbyterian in 95 and 2000, and then Coach Flatt as an assistant in 95, and then the head coach in 2015 and 2025. That's a long time to be fortunate to be around high school football and high school sports, and I feel very blessed and very fortunate.
Well, Coach, best of luck the rest of the way. We appreciate you doing this today, and we'll definitely talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jace. Appreciate you, Coach.
Good luck. Good luck.
Absolutely. Coach Jeff Brothers, our prep legend of the week, and also the head coach at Nashville Christian. As again, they will take on Tyner Academy coming up this Friday with the Georgia commit Jared Curtis under center. Real quick before we get to Craig Ladd, when they played Innsworth earlier in the year, I had a bunch of friends in the Bellevue area that were like, "Hey, we're going to go to the game," and you and I were doing a game, so I couldn't do it, but they couldn't get in. They were down on Sawyer Brown where Nashville Christian is. You couldn't even get near it.
Oh, they had – when we went out, and Jarrett was our player of the week for Prep Football Talk, when we went out there, they was telling us there was cars parked all over the neighborhood, and people some of them had a mile walk to get to the stadium. But they said, what a great kid he is.
Yeah.
You know, he goes over and to the elementary schools and everything, but that shows how he's been coached.
Yep.
I mean, that's just and I couldn't leave how he was brought up.
Yeah.
You know, good mom and daddy. So.
Well, and they showed the highlights of him in this throw he made, and I called Tim Hasselback at Innsworth, and I said, "Is that? I mean, like, was that just one throw?" And he goes,
Well, how I can remember when Greg Pogue saw him his freshman year. He was doing a broadcasting the game on Friday night, and he came back on Saturday morning and said, "Boys, we're going to get tired of saying this name for 4 years, but it's going to be said because he's the best quarterback I've seen as a ninth grader."
Yep, no doubt about it. We will talk to Craig Ladd coming up next and preview next week's games. It's Prep Football Talk, 94.9 The Fan. Prep Football Talk here on this Saturday, 94.9 The Fan. Chase McCabe, Coach Bubba Spears with you. In for Greg Pogue today. Let's say hello to our buddy Craig Ladd, who is with us. Craig, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys.
This is kind of like old times when, now Coach Bubba and I are calling games on Friday nights. You and I used to call games together at FRA on Friday nights, so the band's back together.
Absolutely. Chase, you were just a little pup back then.
I was, and, you took me to Chevy's for the first time, and I grew up a little bit.
I was a little pup, too.
That's right. Yeah, we used to go to Chevy's all the time. And also, Chase, you also knew that wherever we went, what did I have to have? A Coke Zero.
A Coke Zero, that's right. You sure did. He did. All right, let's look ahead at some games coming up, including the first one, FRA at Antioch. This will be Thursday night. That's going to be a good one.
It is, guys. A battle of the unbeatens with FRA at 6-0, knocking off Goodpasture last night, 42-7. Antioch at 7-0, a 55-10 victory over Overton last night. Panthers quarterback Jack Nimitz, man, he had a great night last night in the win, completing 9 of 10 passes for 218 yards and 5 touchdowns. Of course, Antioch, you think Andre Adams. He's one of the premier signal callers in the state. Going into last night's game, the junior completed 88 of his 120 passes for 1,762 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 1 interception. This is the third meeting all time between these two schools. Last game played in 1965. Each has a win in the series.
Unbelievable. Hey, with your BGA math, what percentage is that for Adams?
We got another one Thursday night, Shelbyville at Clarksville.
Shelbyville enjoyed a bye week, guys. They're 3-3 on the season. Golden Eagles are led by excellent running back Robert Bailey. He's rushed for 975 yards on the season, averaging 195 yards per game. After starting the season 0-2 with losses to Blackman and Springfield, Clarksville won its 5th straight on Thursday, defeating Siegel 20-7. During that 5-game win streak, the Wildcats' defense has been stellar, only allowing 27 points. This is the third meeting all time, with the previous 2 matchups being in the playoffs in 2007 and 2014. Clarksville won in 2007. Shelbyville won in 2014.
Then we got Innsworth at CPA.
This will be the first matchup between these two schools since 2020. Innsworth leads the series by winning 5 of the previous 8 meetings. The Tigers, 5-2, had a dominating win at Knoxville Catholic last night, 35-6. Wyoming commit quarterback Taylor Hasselbeck has completed 90 of his 130 passes for 1,082 yards, 6 touchdowns through week 6. CPA also posted an impressive victory by nipping MBA 16-15. The win up the Lions' record to 2-5 and snapped a 4-game losing streak. Bruising running back Rawls Patterson rushed for 213 yards and a score. in the win.
And two former NFL quarterbacks at coach with Tim Hasselbeck at Ensworth and Ingle Martin at CPA. Got Father Ryan at MBA as well.
After beginning the season with a win at Overton, Father Ryan has dropped 6 in a row, including last night's loss to Lipscomb Academy, 20-14. Irish quarterback Caden Dixon passed for 181 yards and a touchdown in the loss. You know what? NBA, they started the season 4-1. They've lost 2 straight, losing last night to CPA 16-15. Guys, this is one of the most historic series in the state. The inaugural game was in 1930, a game in which Bubba was in attendance. So this is the 94th NBA game between these two schools. NBA's won 61 of the matchups, Father Ryan 31. The Irish last season won. That broke a 28-game win streak by NBA in the series.
You beat me on the comment because I was going to ask you what it was like back then.
Real quick, another Thursday game, Whites Creek at Maplewood.
41st meeting between these two metro schools, guys, each of them winning 20 each with the first matchup in 2018. Whites Creek 6-1, saw its undefeated season go by the wayside, losing last night to White House Heritage 21-18. Maplewood 1-5, lost its 5th game in a row, falling to Kenwood 37-12. Offensive efficiencies have contributed to the Panthers' woes, having scored an average of only 7 points a game during that losing streak.
And we just talked to Coach Jeff Brothers at Nashville Christian. They will host Tyner Academy.
Yeah, boy, this should be a really, really good ball game. Tyner Academy plays today against Chattanooga Prep. The Rams entered today's game 6-0, ranked 4th in 3A, fresh off a 34-0 shutout of Cleveland. They have a top-notch corner that's committed to USC by the name of Peyton Dyer, who's really good. Nashville Christian, number 1 in Division II, Single A, had a bye this week. The Eagles, of course, talented duo, quarterback Jared Curtis, running back T.J. Ward. Curtis, a Georgia commit, missed a couple of games due to the injury, but he's back, averaging 173 yards per game through the air and has a total of 10 touchdowns. TCU commit, senior T.J. Ward, rushed for 742 yards, 17 total touchdowns this season.
Well, going to be a fun slate for sure. Craig, appreciate it as always, and it's good to talk to you.
You too, Chase. Thanks.
Thanks, Craig, and tell your lovely wife we said hello.
Will do, Bubba. Thanks. Same to you.
That is Craig Ladd joining us here on the program. That's going to do it for us. It flew by.
Yeah, quick hour.
For Coach Bubba Spears, I'm Chase McCabe. In for Greg Pogue today. This has been Prep Football Talk one-on-one with Greg Pogue. Coming up next, George Plaster, his guest this week. So tune into that here on 94.9 The Fan.